Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to the first episode of the Monday Planner for Anfield Index. I'm your normal host, Dave Davis, coming to you from a pretty gloomy, overcast, let's call it, Edinburgh, but it's the 3rd of Feb. Who expects anything different? Hopefully it's nicer when you are. Monday planning. It's one of them, isn't it? Monday always feels normally like the wankest of wank days, doesn't it? It's got that feel where, oh, fucking hell, I have to go into work. And if you work like me virtually, you have those planning meetings, don't you, on Monday, where you get people named fucking Hannah and Harriet sharing things about their dogs and pets called fucking Lord Custard Face and who gives a shit. Or you get someone like a Sandra or a Tracy who overshare about their sex life and overactive thyroids and everything like that. Apologies, though, people. They're made up. Naturally, their identities are disguised in that regard, like Law and Order. But Monday planning calls at work tend to be a little bit shy. And it's that fair question, how are we? Now, this, ladies and gents, is an LFC show, LFC podcast. So that's what it's about. So let's get into it. How are we? As the dust settled on the weekend, and Monday morning we start. Now, this is a fascinating one for me. It really is, because I've seen a few people saying almost, oh, you know, the Arsenal result, they won, etc. Okay, yes, they did. And nothing changed. Yeah, Arsenal won 5-1 against, let's just be clear, an absolutely washed Manchester City team. Okay, they cannot run. That was clear. And they still actually had chances. It's just they're absolutely terrible. We all know that. There's no doubts about that. And yet Arsenal took it. And even if you look at some of their goals, like deflections, freebies from City, and Sky are desperate, and all those pundits, etc., for a narrative because it gives them a title race. And listen, by no means is it done and dusted yet. There's no doubts about that at all. But do you want to see the result of the weekend, people? That's the result of the weekend. There it is. As it says on the official Liverpool website, Mo Salah double and Liverpool victory at Bournemouth. And for all the talk, that second was the goal of the weekend, wasn't it? Bournemouth, let's just look at that table again. Bournemouth, 7th. Yeah? Going very well. Were in great form. Had just absolutely pumped Newcastle away at St James's and hammered Nottingham Forest, who won 7-0 at the weekend, by the way, at the Vitality. Then Liverpool rock up 2-0. Thank you. Good night, Vienna. So when you're talking about how everything feels, just remember this. The league's the same. Here's some numbers for you. Liverpool are 6 points clear. Liverpool have played a game less than Arsenal. Liverpool have a goal difference that is 8 better than Arsenal. Arguably worth a point right now, you could say. Oh, yeah. And in May, Arsenal have got to come to Anfield. So when anyone asks you, or you're thinking Monday and you're thinking, what's the week ahead? How are we? The only thing that changes, there's a game less for Arsenal to catch us. They've got 14 left to play. We have got 15 left to play. 10 wins, do you reckon will do it now? Yeah. Listen, by the way, as well, when people, obviously, Arsenal are right back in it, Arsenal have still got to go to 3rd away. Arsenal have still got to go to Forest at the same time as well. So when people ask you that question, how are we? And I can still see some going, oh, they almost seem downcast because Arsenal beat a washed Manchester City. Nothing changed. There is just a game less to play. Mind that gap. So Monday planning, what else is coming up this week? Well, this one's the big one, isn't it? The Carabao Cup semi-final. As it says there on the screen, in about 3 days, 9 hours as it stands at 20 past 10, Liverpool will play Spurs in the second leg. Now, there was that first leg where we weren't great, actually. Pretty much had a full-strength team when we lost to that late Bergvall goal, didn't we? 1-0. Spurs won at the weekend. Did anyone clock that at all as well? Christ, look how far you have to scroll down to 14th to get Spurs. They did beat Brentford 2-0 away. Brentford were pretty horrendous in that, to be honest. But they didn't play Van de Ven. That's an interesting one to keep on your radar. I suspect Ange will say, yeah, he's fit for this one, then was rested him against Brentford. Because you could argue this is Spurs' season, couldn't you? I get it. The 14th in the league. What have Spurs got left to play for? Yeah? This feels like an absolutely huge game. So it is on Thursday. Would you think of other events to put in your planner? Means on Wednesday, Arne Slot will do his press conference. Now, checking in with a few journos this morning, they are expecting the normal sort of 9-ish early time on Wednesday morning. So we'll see if anything gets changed with that. But they've also made signing Spurs. You can build into this a little bit now, can't you? Danzo, they've got the Austrian centre-halves. They have got, so it could actually be, potentially, Van de Ven and Danzo, a whole new centre-back pairing. We'll have to see what happens there. Maybe as well, Axel Disasi. We'll see if Chelsea loan him to them. So that's on your docket for this week. Other events coming up. Sunday, the FA Cup. Plymouth away on ITV, or wherever you are in the world, it might be different, but 3 o'clock, which you would think coming up, that is going to be a full second string, isn't it? You would imagine. And when we say full second string right now, just remember certain things. Joe Gomez was left out the squad for Bournemouth. Federico Chiesa was left out the squad for Bournemouth. So you probably expect them to start. Jota, what do you reckon? Does he come back in at the same time as well? Will he come back in before? Maybe for the semi-final and get minutes? Who knows? But you'd fancy he would start in this like he did against Accrington to try and build him up from there. Well, we'll go to the right back situation. But there's quite a few, the Endos, the Elliots, etc. It will still be some fully recognisable players. Probably quite similar to PSV, but not quite the same in a lot of ways. That is what I'm expecting. So because Sunday, the 9th of February is the game, that will mean Friday, the 7th of February, Arne Slot will have his press conferences. So those are your big Liverpool markers coming up this week. Other things that we say are coming up or to keep an eye out for your planner, it's all about Trent news, isn't it? Now, there was a report out sort of late last night. I know we've got it up here on Anfield Index. And fair play, or saying it's an exclusive from Dave O.C. Cott, saying that Trent is actually expected to be back anytime pretty much, and that you can't actually rule him out of the game yet against Spurs. So that was an exclusive that Dave O.C. Cott had there. Listen, we all want that to be badly true, don't we? If Trent is completely fine, how good would that be? But it's Monday Planner. I wouldn't book that just yet on your week ahead, because Paul Gorse tweeted this a little bit earlier this morning. In fact, just over an hour ago. Trent Alexander-Arnold will undergo a scan on Monday to discover the severity of the thigh problem that forced him out of Liverpool's win against Bournemouth. Not thought to be set for a lengthy layoff, but scans will reveal more. And I've got to be honest, doing the normal bit, sort of speaking to a few journos this morning, everyone's got him going for a scan at the Spire today. So I'd love, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to disparage anyone, I'd love Dave O.C. Cott to be completely correct, but I suspect we're waiting news on a Trent scan and seeing what we are. And listen, it would be great if it's not a lengthy layoff. If you go back to the matches, because this is what will be on your planner, you're thinking, okay for him to miss this one on Thursday. In fact, he definitely won't play Sunday, but that Derby one, you would want Trent back for that, wouldn't you? That's the one to keep in your diaries ahead. Can Trent be back for Wednesday, the 12th of February. That feels absolutely massive, doesn't it? I mean, I think that derby last year, he was horrendous. I mean, there's so many that were bad in their Jurgen Klopp's, last derby at Goodison. And this one is the last derby at Goodison. You think Trent would be bang up for that, wouldn't you? Throw your chats in the comments panel. Super chat is live, so feel free to ask me anything on the spot as well, people. But Trent injury news is definitely one to keep an eye on this week for your planner. Other things to keep an eye out for your planner. Contrary to belief, it is the last day of the transfer window, apparently for every club but Liverpool, it seems. But it is 11 o'clock tonight. The 3rd of February, that transfer window will shut. And that is the same for championship clubs, because I was a bit unsure about this. Would there be different? But the EFL deadline is apparently exactly the same. And also, just for your planner, I kind of skipped ahead of this, apologies. Extra time can happen in the Carabao. Some people were tweeting about this as well. There's no extra time in the Carabao up to the quarters. Now we're in the semis. If Liverpool are only a goal ahead, because there's no away goals either, it will go to extra time and then a penalty shootout if not decided by that. But back to the transfer window. There is a little bit going on, let's be honest. Jayden Danns. So Paul Joyce has tweeted about this morning, that Jayden Danns is likely to go to Sunderland. Cade Gordon is heading for Portsmouth. Now this one, Jayden Danns for Sunderland, I think that's great, because they've only really got one recognised striker. Sunderland are right in that playoff picture as well. So you fancy he get minutes. And, for him to play in those competitive games, that's the next stage of his development. And he's got something, whatever it is, Jayden Danns, that X factor. But the minutes just ain't there, aren't they? Let's be honest. Jota's back. Chiesa's left out. That's 6 senior fit forwards there. There just isn't a pathway at the moment. There just isn't the minutes. The best thing he can do is go to a competitive championship club, which Sunderland 100% are, and play minutes, which you'd fancy is baked into the contract. We'll see what develops there. Cade Gordon didn't work out for the kid, did it at Norwich. So this does feel like a good move for him. If he's going to get minutes, obviously with growing pains, injury problems recently, if he can get his career back on track, that feels good for him at the same time. This one, Liverpool are likely to keep James McConnell. What do you make of that? I mean, I thought he was great against PSV. And again, he's got an X factor about him, McConnell. Got a lot of growing to do, as you can see there. But there's something about the kid. My big question is here, and there's one midfielder that's not even mentioned that it'll be interesting to see what comes up this week. Where's he get his minutes? Now, you're going to say Plymouth, of course. I've no doubt he starts Plymouth. And then Mack, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Elliott, Jones, Morton, Endo. Who's he displacing there? And there's a lot of big games coming up, I get, but Arneslot doesn't rotate much. I am just really struggling. And I'm, listen, there's a lot of time till the end of the window, but I just don't see where he gets his minutes. I am not sure this is best for him. He's not quite a young Trent Ione who only just broke into senior football. Remember, James McConnell on his CV has Carabao Cup winner. James McConnell has Champions League minutes. The next step really is, if he's not going to get minutes for Liverpool, senior minutes elsewhere. That is just my honest thing. And I know we say this week, we'll find out by 11 o'clock. And I tell you what, if Tyler Morton hasn't got a move by 11 o'clock tonight, I think he needs to look at switching his representatives, just honestly. Let's just say it again. Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, Elliott, Endo. So those are your 6 senior midfielders. McConnell now is being kept around. So you fancy slot, see something there. That puts Tyler Morton potentially the 8th option for Liverpool. And if you're thinking, no, he's higher, well, look at just what happened in that PSV game. Tyler Morton was on the bench. So where are his minutes? I just genuinely don't see where it is for the kid. And this is not a criticism. I think, as I say, again, he's got something. I love his approach. He's got that tenacity. He slams in, plays off both feet. Did anyone notice as well? Covers the ground well. Got a little bit of physical growing stature, but that's where you get it in the Championship, you'd fancy. But we will see. There's a long time till 11 p.m. And again, Tyler Morton, I do feel for him a little bit. We'll see if there's any moves out. Because let's be honest, it's coming to the close of the window. There is absolutely nada coming in. Not a chance. In fact, I don't even know if Vinny O'Connor will bother rocking up at Anfield. We'll have to see. And the final thing is we're saying actually to put in your Monday planning diary call. There's plenty coming up for you on AI. So I know even tonight, if you are a pro member, the Discord, etc., the Up Boys are set to be recording as it stands at 7 p.m. tonight. So that will be up, UP. There's also the various shows coming up. We'll have the Media Matters today, post-conference presser. Me and Trev might get a transfer show. Electricity and running water and everything like that is fully restored to Ireland. So Dave and Trev were back for Raw, etc. And all those shows will be out during the week. If you look at what we've got published for you, I mean, that's just in the last few days, you've got your normal transfer stuff, you've got scouted, you've got more video analysis from young Jack coming out at the same time as well. So keep your eye out for that. You've got Jack's watch along for the game against Spurs. You'll have Gags Tandon afterwards. You'll have Chat G&G. I know all your content, absolute purveyors of filth at Eddie, Greg and Gags. They've got it all for you this week, ladies and gents. And one that I just watched recently as well, if I was to give a shout out to anything, because I've got a soft spot for them, mainly because one's really nice and one's about 12 years old. Nina and Ben on Final Whistle. So have a listen to that. Well worth a review of the week. Which brings us back to the final bit, which in Magnus Magnusson style, we started, so we finished. How are we? As you start this week, ladies and gents, the Reds are 6 points clear at the top of the league. The Reds have a game in hand over their nearest rivals. The Reds have got a chance to go to Wembley and the Carabao Cup. The Reds have got hardly any injuries. As much as that Trent is a little bit, there's hardly any injuries there. Jones is back. Jota's back. Nunes was back. Chiesa's back. He was just left out the squad. So there is so much to like. So when we talk about this week, ladies and gents, have a good one, eh? But on Monday, the 3rd of February, that was the very first Monday planning.